Microwave tubes, reflex klystrons, second part, series on microwave engineering, lecture number 4.22. Reflex klystrons are microwave oscillators. They have good number of applications in the design of microwave communication systems. They employ an electron gun, a cavity, and a repeller plate in their construction. They are low power, low efficiency devices. What are the reasons for their lower output levels, their lower efficiency levels? Answers to these questions are given or available in the present session. Mode of operation of the device reflex klystron is an important aspect as it determines, as it has a bearing over the output power of the device. Along with the modes of these devices, aspects like repeller protection, equivalent circuit of the device, and also tuning mechanism that exists in these devices. All these aspects are described, discussed, and elaborated in the present session. Second session on reflex klystrons. Let us move further to the core session. To start the session, we consider the aspect repeller protection. Repeller is a plate in the structure of the reflex klystron. It is connected to a negative voltage VR. Electrons, after getting velocity modulated in the grid gap, they enter in the repeller region where they face opposition to their movement. They travel different amounts of distances into the repeller region. They spend different amounts of time in the repeller region, and then they return back to the cavity gap. And none of these electrons they reach, or they are able to reach the repeller plate. If they reach the repeller plate, what happens? To see that electrons are not able to reach the repeller plate, certain measures are adopted in the design of the device, in the functioning of the device. What are they? All those aspects we discuss under repeller protection. The electron beam should never be able to reach the repeller. If the beam reaches the repeller, bombardment of the repeller takes place, resulting in its damage. The purpose of the repeller plate is to create a field opposing the motion of electrons. Its purpose is not to accept electrons or to get bombarded by the electrons. To safeguard the repeller against electron beam hit, the following precautions are usually taken. Voltage to repeller is always applied before the voltage is applied to the cathode of the electron gun, so that beam generation can happen only after repeller is negative. This is one way by which one can avoid electron beam hit of repeller plate. Another measure is a cathode resistor is often used to ensure that the repeller can never be more positive than the cathode. Therefore, electron beam always faces opposition to its movement towards the repeller plate. Some critical information regarding mode number. First aspect one has to keep in mind is reflex klystron can be operated in different modes. The modes are called or named as 1 3/4 mode, 2 3/4 mode, 4 3/4, 5 3/4, etc. 1 3/4, 2 3/4, 4 3/4. It refers to transit time of electron in the repeller region. This aspect we have noticed while discussing about Applegate diagram. In 1 3/4 mode, the transit time is 1 3/4 t, capital T. T stands for time period of the signal. In 2 3/4 mode, transit time is 2 3/4 capital T. Similarly, 3 3/4 mode, 4 3/4 mode, etc. After having some understanding regarding mode number, now we move further to have more information on this particular parameter. From the Applegate diagram, electron bunch give energy to the gap only when the transit time of DC electrons in the repeller space is 1 3/4 t, 2 3/4 t, 3 3/4 t, or 4 3/4 t, etc. T being fundamental time period of gap voltage. Of course, it is equal to 1 by F. We know theta naught prime. What is this theta naught prime? It is transit angle of the electron in the repeller region. It is equal to 2m omega L V naught by E Vr plus V naught. For power transfer to the grid gap, it must be equal to 2 pi n minus 1 by 4. N can take values from 1 onwards, 1, 2, 3 integer values. We are going to see 1 is not be realized for other reasons, but as far as theory, concept, idea is concerned, it can be 1 also. Hence, the DC electron transit time can be expressed as T naught prime. What is T naught prime? Theta naught prime by 2 pi is T naught prime. It becomes equal to n minus 1 by 4 t. It can be written as nt also. N is a fraction. It is usually called mode number. Now let us move further. Output power. Different electrons, after spending different amounts of time in the repeller region, they come back to the grid gap, forming bunches. These bunches then cross the gap. The bunch crossing constitutes a current, periodic current. The periodic current can be expressed as a Fourier series expansion. This current due to the crossing of bunches, and also the charge which has not participated in bunch formation. All that current can be found equal to I2 is equal to minus I0 minus n equal to 1 to infinity 2 I0 jn nx prime cos n omega t2 minus theta naught minus theta g. Theta g is grid gap transit angle. Theta naught is repeller region transit angle. T2 is the instant at which the electron arrives at the gap after spending some time in the repeller region. X prime is the bunching parameter. J stands for Bessel function. N is the order. I0 is DC beam current. It has several components. The fundamental component of induced current. This is the current that is crossing the gap. Current crossing results in induction of certain currents over the cavity walls. The fundamental component of the induced current is, it is indicated by I2 equal to 2I0 beta I J1 x prime. Beta I, it takes care of the coupling between beam or bunch current and cavity gap walls. Whereas 2I0 J1 x prime, this is fundamental component in the beam or bunch current. It results when N is used here. 2I0 J1 x prime. The AC power delivered to the load is product of RMS values of AC voltage across the gap with AC current through the gap. So PAC is V1. It is amplitude of the voltage across the cavity gap. I2 is amplitude of the current divided by 2. Power is product of voltage and current, RMS values. Here V1, I2, these are amplitudes. To convert them into RMS values, 2 appeared in the denominator. But I2 is 2I0 beta I J1 X prime. This can further be converted into 2V0 I0 X prime J1 X prime by 2 pi N. After output power, we consider another important parameter, efficiency of reflex klystron. The efficiency of a reflex klystron device is defined as the ratio of AC power output to DC power input. Mathematically, eta stands for efficiency. It is PAC by PDC. PDC or power input to klystron is V0 I0. V0 is accelerating voltage, I0 is beam current. Using the expression for AC power output available in the previous slide, the efficiency can be found as eta equal to 2 x prime J1 x prime by 2 pi N. Notice efficiency is associated with product x prime J1 x prime. If we sketch a graph between x prime and product x prime J1 x prime, we can notice the graph starts at 0, 0, assumes maximum value at a particular value of x prime. That value is 2.408. The product at this value of x prime is 1.25. It implies efficiency becomes large when bunching parameter value is 2.408. The efficiency is maximum when its denominator takes minimum possible value, that is 1 3 by 4. It is mentioned already 3 by 4 mode is not practically realizable. This aspect can be seen very clearly from electronic admittance spiral diagram, which we are going to consider in another session, third session on reflex klystrons. So the first mode or the lowest mode that is realizable is 1 3 by 4. Efficiency assumes maximum when denominator takes minimum values and numerator takes maximum possible value. It is maximum possible when the product x prime J1 x prime assumes its maximum value of 1.25. We have seen it from the graph that is shown in the previous slide. It ultimately results in a maximum efficiency of 22.7%. But note, 22.7% is the figure which we found on paper, which is obtained theoretically. In practice, it is not that much. It is around 15%. The conclusion is theoretical possible maximum efficiency is 22.7%. Less, even that also is not available in practice. It is just around 15%. That's why it is called low efficiency device. One reason for its low efficiency can be understood from the fact that entire beam is given energy by the accelerating anode or by the voltage source to which accelerating anode is connected, V0. Entire beam, all the electrons in the beam, they take energy from V0, but only half of the beam participate in the bunching process. In a cycle, electrons that cross the gap from positive peak to negative peak, they only participate in the bunching process. Electrons that cross in the other half of the cycle, they are not at all involved in the bunching process. So half of the input energy goes waste. So the efficiency cannot be more than 50%. This is one aspect. Second aspect is electrons that participate in bunching process. They don't become a perfect bunch. Perfect bunch is one whose thickness is negligible. Hence, bunch formation exists but it is not perfect. Hence, the energy transfer to the gap by the bunches is not maximum possible. These are considered as main reasons for lower levels of efficiency in klystron oscillator tubes. Now we consider equivalent circuit of the device. The equivalent circuit consists of a parallel combination of one capacitor, one inductor. The capacitor is there, inductor is there, both representing the energy storage elements of the cavity, and three conductances representing copper losses, beam loading, load conductance. Load is connected to the tube, so load conductance comes into being. Beam loading, there exists certain amount of loading due to the crossing of electron beam. Copper losses, it is natural to exist I square R losses in the cavity. So all these aspects, they are represented in a circuit, then that circuit is considered as equivalent circuit. I2 is fundamental component of the beam or bunch current. When I say bunch current, I mean the current that is crossing from repeller plate towards electron gun. In the above circuit, as already mentioned, C and L represent energy storage elements of the cavity. GC represents copper losses. GB represents beam loading conductance. GL, this one, it represents load conductance. The impact of connecting load to the cavity, that aspect is taken into account by inserting certain conductance GL in the equivalent circuit. That is the idea. After equivalent circuit, a few points regarding tuning. What is tuning? Changing frequency of operation is tuning. How it is achieved in klystron oscillators? This particular aspect is considered for discussion right now. In the case of klystron oscillators, following methods are usually adopted to have the facility of frequency tuning or frequency variation. One can go for mechanical methods or one can opt for electronic methods too. What are mechanical methods? Frequency can be varied by adjustable screw, bellows, or dielectric inserts into the cavity. This is cavity. By having an adjustable screw, bellow, or dielectric inserts into the cavity, frequency of operation can be varied. These methods fall under the category of mechanical tuning. Electronic tuning is also possible. Frequency can also be varied by adjusting the repeller voltage. This feature provides a means of obtaining fine tuning and also a means of introducing frequency modulation. So basically, electronic tuning means changing the frequency of operation with repeller voltage. Benefits with electronic tuning include fine tuning and frequency modulation of the device. In a typical situation, a total frequency variation of order of 1% can be obtained with electronic tuning. Fine tuning is not possible with the mechanical methods. These are some of the things which I want to share with you. But right now, to recap, repeller protection, mode of operation of the device, output power, efficiency, tuning, etc. of reflex klystron are considered in the session. Enough for now. Hope you have enjoyed this enriching, learning, transformative session. See you soon again in another session with another topic. Bye bye.